Ethan Klein is once more doing what Zionists do best, playing the victim. His reaction to getting refuted for months on end on Israel Palestine and having his abhorrent views plainly dissected for all to see by me and many others has been simply to try to divert attention away from that discussion and onto basically everything else. Rather than try to actually refute his detractors on the basis of the facts and the evidence, he just resorts to instead claiming they are terrible people, attacking them personally, and basically talking about everything but what's actually important. The actual political arguments, the historical arguments. He never responds to them. And now, in an effort to further ensure that he doesn't have to respond to them, he's claiming that he was mailed human skulls as a threat. Ethan's also been slyly trying to imply that I sent him the skulls, although to my knowledge he hasn't outright said that yet. But if he does outright say it, we're certainly going to be looking into suing him for defamation, because in such a case it would be very easy to just completely ruin him and his reputation, because in that situation we would obviously be able to subpoena the records from the vendor, which would show who ordered this, where they ordered it from, what details they put in, what payment method they use, and stuff like that. And as you'll be seeing during this video, the most likely culprit that it would show is Ethan Klein himself. So yeah, if he wants to get himself into actual real legal trouble, he's already losing a defamation lawsuit for millions to Ryan Kavanaugh. I guess he can go through with that, though I'd advise him not to. I'll just crowdfund legal fees and we'll go to court and we'll get this whole thing figured out. So firstly, let me show you where he said this. It's in a video that he just made on his main channel. Half of the video, which is dedicated to complaining about me again. He's made 5 straight main channel videos just complaining about me, honestly. It's pretty comical. But the YouTuber iDubbbz recently made a video basically just accusing Ethan of being a bad friend to him, which to be honest, I don't really care about and I don't think anyone should care about, because there's way more important things that are at stake. And in his video responding to that video, Ethan Klein ludicrously brings up this supposed human skull incident, as if that has anything to do with this guy who made a video basically about how you've just been a bad friend to him recently. So here's the part in the video where he brings up this supposed human skull thing.
There's something that I've never talked about publicly, but around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home, which led us to having a very pleasant interview with the FBI.
Okay, so let's examine this claim. We received 2 human skulls at home, which led us to having a pleasant interview with the FBI. The problem with this narrative is that Ethan Klein posted the uncensored images of these skulls on his Instagram, and they do appear to be real human skulls. However, they are real human skulls that still have the tags on them, that still have the serial number on the tags, and that literally have the vendor who sold them listed on the tags. So other people have already done all of the work here for me regarding looking into where these skulls came from, which apparently wasn't too hard given how much information about them Ethan inadvertently gave out by posting these pictures. And it was discovered that this skull is from the website Skulls Unlimited. We know this because in this picture that he posted, which weirdly, by the way, is of his crew member AB handling the skull, he made him do that. That's weird, dude. You can see Skulls Unlimited, there's a tag there, and you can see in this picture very clearly the serial number of the skull, 0030589. So human remains like this are very carefully inventoried if they're being held in any sort of legal way, and that's why this has a serial number so that it can easily be tracked. So Ethan Klein is claiming clearly here that someone threatened him by buying a skull from a legal online website which will mail skulls to you, and they also had it mailed just directly to him and left the tags on it and everything, which makes it easy to track down and thus easy to find out who the person who sent it was, obviously, because they can just go to the vendor and ask them. But it gets stupider. This skull was actually on the website of Skulls Unlimited for sale up until this morning. As you can see here, this is the exact same skull, same serial number, 30589, same appearance, same everything. So Ethan Klein wants us to believe that someone threatened him by sending him skulls in the original packaging. Just to let you know, the packaging of Skulls Unlimited, by the way, make it very obvious what's inside as well. This is what a package from Skulls Unlimited looks like. So everything about this is just obvious bullshit. He's trying to claim that someone sent him a skull in the mail, and they just sent it directly from the vendor. It didn't occur to them apparently to get it sent to them first so that they could make the packaging inconspicuous and cut off any identifying features or whatever, the tag. No, they just mailed it directly to him. And then also, After that, after Ethan apparently called the FBI, as he claimed in that video, he then returned the skull voluntarily to the vendor so that they can resell it. To be clear, you can't just return something unless you're the actual buyer like that. You can't just return something and get a refund for it unless you're the buyer. And it wouldn't make any sense anyway, even if he wasn't the buyer, for him to return it, because, you'd want to keep that as evidence, as proof. You wouldn't just give it straight back to them so that they can sell it again a second time. And especially if the fucking FBI was involved, as he claimed, they wouldn't let you just give it back. They would have seized it from him as evidence immediately. And for that matter, the FBI just immediately getting involved, no local police first, nothing. Everything about this story is just incredibly implausible. And everything about it points to Ethan himself having bought these skulls in a pathetic effort to keep playing the victim by claiming that someone else sent them to him to threaten him. He has provided no evidence otherwise, and until he actually does, there's no reason to believe his narrative about this. And also, if this was real, obviously Ethan would not have shut up about it. He wouldn't have kept this on the down low. He's desperate to play the victim. He would have gone live basically immediately to talk about it. So what the evidence actually points to here, especially given that the skull was returned, and just to be clear, people have called Skulls Unlimited, and to be clear, please don't contact Skulls Unlimited. It'd be ethically wrong for them to get involved in this, and I'm pretty sure it would break a ton of privacy laws if the US even has those. I hope it does. For them to reveal anything about the people who are buying this stuff from them. So they cannot and they should not talk about this with you, so please just leave them alone. But someone did call them. They asked about the skull, and they said the skull is available for purchase, but now it's unlisted, meaning that once it started getting a lot of attention as a result of the Ethan Klein thing, they just took it down to it because they don't want to get involved. So the skull was factually returned, and it was listed on the website until this morning, meaning that Ethan Klein instead of giving the skull to the FBI as evidence, or them taking it as evidence, which is what they really would do if there was a serious crime here, instead of just keeping it or throwing it away or donating it somewhere, he returned it so that the person who he is claiming in order to threaten him can get a refund from the vendor. Look, I'm sorry, if you buy this, you are not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. The most likely conclusion here is the simplest one, the one that all the evidence points to. That Ethan Klein bought this himself as a part of his long-lasting campaign to play the victim because he can't win the actual political arguments, and the rest is really just history. It's likely something that he decided was too out there to even go with, given that he didn't actually talk about it until now, and this seems to have happened about a month ago, judging by when this listing was put back up. But iDubbbz making a video about him made him feel like he needed to play the victim more, and this is what he decided to throw in there. To be clear, this is not the first time that Ethan Klein has made claims like this, completely and totally unsourced with zero evidence. His whole narrative regarding CPS being called on him, for example, he's provided no evidence that ever actually happened. None. We have literally nothing but his word. And given how much he's clearly lying about this skull thing, maybe trusting his word and nothing more is a bit stupid. He claims there was a CPS call and a CPS officer visited his house. He's provided no evidence of that. He's especially provided no evidence of his claims, bizarrely, that me and 10 different others, whenever it's convenient, he's blamed all of us for calling CPS. No evidence for that either. In fact, the evidence that is inadvertently given out makes it pretty clear that if this did actually happen, it was someone known to him. Everything else is just him creating a narrative and providing zero evidence for it. When he initially talked about this supposed CPS call, this is what he said.
Getting giardia and that, et cetera, et cetera. And, it culminated in somebody finally... an anonymous call went into them on the 3rd, saying that they were somebody that works at the house, and they wanted to report us because our kids are crawling around eating dog shit and getting viruses. And they were able to provide enough details because of what I said on the show to make it appear that it was somebody. He said, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that who made the report. And I'm like, no, okay. So
Ethan Klein thinks that we should trust him more than we should this supposed CPS officer who said it's someone who knows him, someone close to him. No, we shouldn't actually, because CPS in California doesn't have anonymous calls, as he claims there. When someone calls CPS in California, callers to CPS have to identify themselves to the point where CPS is confident enough in the fact that they are actually close to the person. So there was no anonymous call here. This was someone who was able to provide CPS with enough personal information to convince them that they were actually close to the family, if that person, again, even existed, because he's provided no proof this ever happened. So do we believe Ethan Klein, desperate to draw attention away from his abhorrent views on Israel Palestine? Or do we believe this supposedly existing CPS officer who said that it was someone close to them? You know, the guy who actually would have information regarding who this person was, rather than just Ethan's baseless speculation about who they are. I'd say believing Ethan Klein there would be pretty fucking dumb. Claims made without evidence can and should be dismissed out of hand, and this is a case where you should do that 100%. He's also framing the CPS thing, if it even happened, as if it was like a swatting or something, like it's a social worker with a clipboard coming to your house, and he's like basically framing as if like a bunch of armed soldiers came to his house and they put his family in danger or something. It's just ridiculous. He's just so desperate to victimize himself. He's so desperate to play the victim. And it's all because he's too incompetent and stupid to defend the genocidal politics of himself and his wife. Anyway, so in this video, Ethan Klein also like somehow tries to say that iDubbbz should like have to talk about me or something. Like, hey iDubbbz, why don't you talk about Bad Empanada? And it gets to this point where Ethan Klein, who to be clear is someone who considers himself like a witty troll who gets jokes, you know, he's sarcastic, you know, no one can get the better of him. He plays like a very obvious clip, which to be clear, he wants people to think like I sent it to him. I didn't send it to him, it was from my Instagram story, posted publicly, where I'm obviously playing into his narrative about me supposedly being like an internationally wanted criminal. So what I did here is like, I made my hair even worse. I fucked it up. I turned on my studio lighting, which I have, if you can believe it. I just don't really set it up very well. Usually I'm too lazy. I put it as close to my face as possible to make sure that like you could see every little pore of my face. And then I did like a face like this. And I'm like, I just said whatever came to mind to like be like, Ethan Klein, I am in control. I'm the puppet master. I'm the one who is like controlling everything behind the scenes. Very obviously, like, you're being fucked with. Ethan Klein buys it 100% and he puts it in his video as proof of how like iDubbbz has to talk about the Bad Empanada question. Look at this shit. And by the way, this is a great edit. Like he edited to like scary music and stuff, and zoom ins and like flashy stuff, and like with these guys dancing interspersed with it. To be clear, the sort of video that I made here to mock Ethan Klein's narrative about him like being the victim of a massive harassment campaign led by evil international criminal Bad Empanada, who was actually just a random guy in a house with like a shitty studio light who filmed a video against like a sheer white wall, saying whatever happened to come to mind in 1 minute in order to troll you. Ethan Klein is the sort of person who would have done that 5 years ago. Like, he thought at least that he was the troll. He was the one who was lighthearted. He was the one who was sarcastic. If you can remember, like, he mocked like the Domino's Pizza guy, the CEO of Domino's Pizza or whatever it was, for going on like a weird unhinged rant about how the reckoning is coming when he's talking about pizza. Now, ironically, Ethan Klein is the sort of person who would see something like that and take it 100% seriously. Just look at how desperate he is to victimize himself. Dude, this is the whole reason why I fucking made this. Like, you think this edit is like, I don't know what he's going for here. Like, I feel like he has to, like, Ethan Klein's a very dumb person, but he has to know that this is obviously a troll. So I think, like, he's presenting it here as if it's not, for his audience of, like, 11-year-olds and, like, adults with the IQs of 11-year-olds, because that's basically the only person who is still here at this point. Basically, his audience is now, like, a bunch of Asmongold and Destiny viewers, most of whom are children or, like, 40-year-old men with the minds of children. That's the sort of person who would buy this narrative that he's trying to push by including this obvious troll Instagram story in this video.
Today was pretty bad, wasn't it?
The reverb
really sucked for you. So just
like, this is the sort of editing that I would have liked to have done to this if I wasn't lazy.
Pointed.
It's not bad at all. I approve of it, honestly.
The betrayal of one of your closest.
I'm gonna take on. I don't like the dancing part though, but I might take it and like take his ideas and make it my new stream intro.
Long-term friends, huh? TikTok, though, Ethan. TikTok, because this was just a taste. This was just a small part.
It's like he's zooming in on him, like, hey, look, this is your friend. You're responsible for this obvious joke Instagram story. It's all your fault. This is fucking amazing. Like, Ethan Klein is so unable to actually respond to the content of iDubbbz's video, which I don't think is very important, just calling him a bad friend or whatever, then his immediate narrative is just to play the victim and be like, hey, look at this guy who made this video trolling me. Look at that, huh? This has something to do with you somehow.
Of what we have organized for you.
All that he knows how to do is to play the victim. He can't actually talk about the points. And it pains him so much as well. God, it's awesome.
It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse, Mr. Klein. Every day.
I'm sorry, I'm funny. Why am I funny, man? I don't want to be funny. I didn't start YouTube to be funny. I started YouTube to be like a boring lecturer. And now I'm just like making fucking comedy bangers every day thanks to Ethan Klein. He's really brought out the best in me.
Every day. Sit there just waiting in misery, in fear of what we have in store for you.
What we have in store, you see, I am the puppet master behind everything.
TikTok goes the clock.
Maybe if he stops harassing other creators.
He lets his dogs
Oh, he keeps playing this clip, by the way, so I'm just going to refute this real quick.
shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor.
Maybe if he does these things.
Okay, so Ethan, have you not said that you do that? Because he has. I'll show you, just to end this video, I'll show you the clip where Ethan Klein outright said on his podcast that he does that. Like, Ethan Klein's fans keep going on this narrative where me saying that he said that his kids like crawl on the floor and that he implied that they got a parasite from eating dog shit is a lie that I made up, when he said it on his podcast and he just keeps leaving it out.
One part of it. The next part is...
It's like Ethan Klein thinks that if he says something incredibly stupid on his podcast, it's like harassment for other people to then react to that and laugh at him for it.
that Olive has giardia, which is a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
And Olive has this?
Olive has this, yeah. She came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea, and
Oh, poor baby.
Ducky came to us with that too. And I just wonder why...
It's relatively common.
It should be... They should have found it already. But anyway, so she has giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic, but we had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today. And... well, Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
And now Ela has giardia.
shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my god.
What can I do to not get it from
Yeah,
you?
I'm trying
Yeah,
to...
what?
Because I'm not trying to get
Can
that.
we crank the
it's-
AC, maybe?
Is it?
It's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop. Are you planning on that?
Never.
Not really.
So then you're fine.
I mean, what more is there to say about this? You know, this guy is just a chronic liar and he keeps inventing these increasingly elaborate lies. And it's all, to be clear, because he is being refuted on the basis of the facts by a bunch of YouTubers and Twitch streamers regarding Israel Palestine and his support of the genocide in Gaza. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite as pathetic as this, though I think the people who believe this are as pathetic or perhaps even more pathetic than him. They have to be pretending, to be honest. Anyway, Ethan's going to be dwelling on this for the rest of his life, but I'm not. So I just want to assure my viewers that I'm working on a main channel video. I have been for a while now. It's going to be on something totally unrelated to this and Israel Palestine. And then I have a bunch of ideas after that because, you know, unlike Ethan Klein, I didn't get ass blasted so bad in the actual political argument that I'm now going to dwell on this for literally the rest of my life. Feels good to be able to work on actual things of importance rather than just torpedoing my own career by trying to play the victim day in and day out on my supposed comedy podcast where I'm sarcastic and I troll people. Isn't it funny that that was his reputation? And now he's the guy who falls for the most obvious trolls and invents the most ridiculous fake scenarios to try and play the victim. Ethan Klein is the sort of guy who he made fun of 10 years ago.